This is an asset. After only 13 months of ownership, we were able to refinance and cash out with very little work, and you can do too when you buy things right. How a busted water line under that building over there almost stopped us from buying this property. Stay tuned and I'll share the story. Hi, my name is Julian Sanchez, and me and my partners at Elan Capital, along with our investors, we own and operate a lot of properties just like this one, so you don't have to. Just kidding. This will be another video in the series of the Cleveland portfolio. Hope you enjoy. And because I can't get on the roof of these guys to show you more, I'll do it from the top of the truck rental, that Ram, American made. So these guys we bought in 2021. No, we refinanced them in the year 2021 after only owning them for 13 months. When you buy things right, at the right price, you are able to do that. We had equity built in when we purchased this. Oh, story. This is done, this roof. Amish contractor from the Amish community here in Ohio. Shout out to you guys. Incredible work. Never had a chance to meet them in person. The previous owner had these done by them, but spoke with them on the phone, and yeah, they carried over the warranty on these roofs for us. But so shout out to the Amish community. They're big here in Ohio and in Pennsylvania. So what can I share about this property? For example, we had story. Funny enough, this is where I parked. That the contractor, I had to have a different concrete guy come and finish this. Because the first one we hired to do this took half of the money, started, didn't finish. Why did he not finish? He went to Minnesota, won't share his name, to do another job, bigger job he had to go in, and just kind of put us on hold. Then came on the news, local news here in Lorain, Ohio, that he was taking money from people, start jobs that he never finished. And then, afterwards, comes in the news again, beat a guy to death outside a bar in Minnesota where he was doing that job and ended up in jail. So he was not gonna finish our concrete job from jail, obviously. Thus, I had to find a different guy to come and finish that concrete patch I just showed you, I just jumped from and almost hurt my knee. Anyways, oh, these are our neighbors. Won't share their names either, because they're kind of slumlords. And I mentioned this in a video before, we're not curing cancer. We're not putting men on the moon. There's no neuroscience. We're not doing incredible things here. It's just taking care of your tenants and fixing things. So actually this fence had fallen over, their fence onto our property, and then you'd had people walking over uninvited. It's never appealing. We don't want to have a property that looks like that. So they just fixed that this week. I had to sit down and have a conversation with them. And at first, another quick story, the girl, the new property manager they had, it just opens up the door, so overwhelmed, and she's like, look, that is the very last thing on my very long list from the city inspectors that they've requested me to do. So I was like, who else can I speak with? Anyways, long story short, fortunately, looks like they got that fixed. So we had a water line burst right here days before we were about to purchase this property. And I always remember it because I was at a tournament with my daughter, gymnastics, in Savannah, Georgia. We get the information that Sunday that there was just water pouring right out of here. Water coming through the ground, lots of it. And then we're right about to close on this property. We had already done inspections, etc. And, money was in escrow, blah, blah, blah. Everything looking good. Lender ready to close. Then this pops up. We're informed of that issue. And I just get on a plane and fly over here the next day to assess what would it take to fix. Because that was the most important thing, right? Are we talking a few $100s, thousands, or tens of thousands if we had to bust concrete inside the unit, relocate tenants, etc. Fortunately, I remember I fly in, get with Josh, Value Rooter, who has been very helpful here locally for us. Shout out to them and his family owned business for many years that came. We assessed, hey, instead of doing that, we'll run a new water line, and that's all the issue for a few $100s, fortunately. So we didn't make a big fuzz out of it. We're like, okay, and closing was able to occur as normal. See, I think this was part of the concrete job that guy has started as well before he beat that guy to death in Minnesota. Anyways, I'll show you guys the inside of one of the units we're rehabbing right now, and I'll share how we're studying this property in particular, because we currently have 3 tenants here that have been here for 12 years, another about a decade, and another almost close to a decade. And we try to keep a great place for tenants to live. Wanted to speak to them speak to the team is how can we create more tenants like that stay with us for very, very long time years and years to come. It's just always things we're working on internally to be the best landlords we can be.
I'm in Detroit with Khadijah, like 10 villains rolling Rio.
And so here is Unit F. It was all quiet until that smoke detector beeped. It's a little dark. We turn off the power. The unit's currently vacant. And this is one of the original units. As I was just mentioning and talking about the tenants, you'll always have the ones, I believe this one like just genuinely had to move, genuinely had to leave, new job offer, out of state, etc. So original carpet, this one was already in place and paying. So if the tenant is still here, we don't, we fix what needs to be fixed, but we don't do a full rehab, as obvious. Again, it's a bit dark. I'll be going down. So these are like townhome style units. Probably get a new AC unit there. They did break all the blinds, but overall, they took good care of this unit in general. So this is one our team will come in and rip out carpets and paint, fix whatever needs to be fixed, and turn this over to a new tenant. These units are in high demand. Again, it's a 1.5, 2-bedroom layout. They're more spacious. We have washer and dryer hookups, which is a big plus here in Northeast Ohio. Common laundry room, which is what we have in some of the other properties. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, share in the comments what you liked, disliked about this video, questions, concerns, psychological traumas. Be happy to answer them as they come along. Be good. And as I leave the property, and it occurred to me to share something I just learned from our head of maintenance here locally, Rick, that knew one of the tenants, Mr. Feliciano, that has been living here for a very long time, who knew him previously, and shared that, he just told me this morning, that prior to him living here, no, he was already living here when we bought it from the previous ownership. He had been having a stove with 2 burners not working, and the oven just, it was a full see-through. Imagine you put your hand through. They hadn't fixed just the front cover of his oven in years. And like, why? Simple fix. Buy the new glass. I think it was less than $100. Something we immediately fixed for him. But so again, to reiterate on the point I made earlier, it's not rocket science. It's just taking good care of your tenants. That's all. Prior to him living here, no, he was already living here when we bought it from the previous ownership. He had been having a stove with 2 burners not working, and the oven just, it was a full see-through. Imagine you put your hand through. They hadn't fixed just the front cover of his oven in years. And like, why? Simple fix. Buy the new glass. I think it was less than $100. Something we immediately fixed for him. But so again, to reiterate on the point I made earlier, it's not rocket science. It's just taking good care of your tenants. That's all.
Yo, so many questions. Who do I ask? Where do I go from here?
Ooh. Solid Formica, but
What are you smoking? Ain't no average girl, my one top tier. What is it now? I stood on business.